he just drops, "Hey guys, signed," and it says Stamkos, Marchessault, Shea, and then Carrier because he had re-signed.
Oh, yeah.
And there was it, just like
That's the text.
Yeah.
Ice is ready, and we are back with another episode of the Empty Netters podcast, brought to you by BetMGM, and we've got a special one today.
We've got a special Smashville one today.
We've got a Smashel
one today.
We suck.
God,
Why did you do that?
I don't know. I thought it was going to be cool.
How about this? I'm going to try it again.
Yep.
We've got a smashing episode today.
Yeah. See, I
Kinda
knew
British.
it was there.
It was there. But
We have a smashing episode.
We've got a smashing episode for you today here at the Empty Netters podcast. Chaps, this one is delightful. We are here in Nashville. Filip Forsberg joining the podcast at long last. Unbelievable episode. This dude's the man.
He is the man.
The man.
And
Let's not waste time.
let's not waste any time.
Let's not waste time.
Let's not waste any time.
He is the man. We're going to kick it right to the interview. Hope you guys enjoy. Get it. We are currently joined by an Ustavola native.
Wow, I didn't know you were going to go full pronunciation.
I am. A U18 silver medalist, a World Junior gold medalist, a World Junior MVP, a World Championship gold medalist, the 11th overall pick in the 2012 draft, a member of the NHL All-Rookie team, and NHL Rookie All-Star, two-time All-Star with the Nashville Predators, and the best mustache in the NHL, Filip Forsberg.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I wanted to go the Swedish pronunciation of Forsberg too.
Oh, yeah. What
I
is
don't.
it?
It's like, wait, let me try it. Forsberg?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Not bad, right?
Forsberg, yeah.
Forsberg.
And it all depends on who you talk to. Like if you're south or north.
That's something I've learned
Oh, yeah.
recently.
Oh, yeah.
Like the southern and northern accents
What was
in
that?
Sweden.
The southern pronunciation, or was that the northern?
No, you were pretty normal. I'd say.
Okay.
Like, neutral.
Yeah,
like
yeah, it's right in the
Stockholmish.
middle, yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the more south you get, the more
Yep.
it's like Danish. And
Okay.
Yeah, that's
further
it.
north, they just like
Yep.
they don't say speak.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've learned that with maybe. I feel like when southern Swedes say maybe, like kanske, it's a
Yep.
aggressive accent.
Nice.
So I'm learning.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. Dude, I think we have a mutual issue that the Niners have a Chiefs problem. And I don't know how we solve this.
No.
But
Yeah, I don't.
I was bummed at the Super Bowl, and I thought we were going to get it back yesterday, and we didn't get it back. So I don't know what to do.
I was pumped about the game yesterday.
I know,
I thought
same.
this was you can't call it revenge
For
game,
sure, for
really,
sure,
but
yeah.
like at least for
Show
them.
them what's up.
Yeah,
Put
like
it in
we're,
their head.
we're here.
Yep.
They were not there.
Nightmare.
They're not there. It just, God damn it. Like at half, I was like, fuck, they're not going
Yeah.
to beat
A
them.
lot of guys went down, though, right?
No,
Like,
but the Chiefs have the
Chiefs
same
have
issue.
lights out. You're right. Good point.
And then obviously George, like I watched the game and
Yeah.
before somebody told me 5 years ago you'd be watching a game and looking at the blocking, I'm like,
Yeah, right.
and now I'm like walking at the run block.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I just feel so bad for him. Like not that I know anything really, but just watching him.
Yep.
Every play bust his
Grind.
Like,
It is so funny when you got a great buddy on a team and you're like, it adds so much. Obviously, there's guys in the league that you feel that way, but it adds so much emotional element to the games when you're like,
Yeah.
that's my boy.
Yeah.
Need you to win. It's so frustrating.
He's Felix's godfather, is that right? That's
right.
awesome.
Yeah.
How'd you guys meet?
so our wives are best friends. So
Oh,
that's
cool.
kind of how
Nice.
like basically, I met my wife here in town, and
Yeah.
a couple of years before that, she had met Claire through
Okay.
Instagram, I think.
Oh, no way.
Like basically, Claire just like, hey, let's hang out.
We should be friends.
Yeah, that's funny how it works. Like
It
that.
does,
Wow,
dude.
for girls,
Unbelievable.
like dudes are like,
Yeah.
that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
girls, like I don't know how many friends she's got that are just like, hey, you're cool. Like I like
Yep.
your style. Want to go get coffee or go for a walk?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, this is
Yeah.
we met yesterday. I'm
Yeah.
awesome.
And then you
Good
get
for
the husband. They're like, and this is your friend.
Yeah,
now. And you're like,
exactly.
Yeah.
okay.
And,
And this-
also now George is your son's godfather.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, no, so that went so pretty much like we started dating obviously and pretty early on.
Yep.
I was introduced to George and
Yeah.
we never looked back.
He's the best.
Is
Yeah.
he dialed into the Preds too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He
Hell
is,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second they're done, he's on the
Yeah, I was going to
He's
say,
on the
I've seen him
glass,
at
he's on
tons
the
of games.
suites.
Has he
Yeah,
done the horn thing? The siren, whatever you guys have?
No, I don't
We
think
got to
so,
get him up
actually.
there. I think that might be
That-
the
that's
juice
a
for what we
no-brainer.
need. Yeah,
Normally they put him on the jumbo somewhere.
that's
for
enough.
The second
Yeah,
period,
yeah.
and he's chugging
Chugging
the
beer.
beer.
Yeah, I was going to say, he'll just
Exactly.
delete 3 beers in a row.
Yeah.
Like,
He'll find his way on there for sure.
I have another random TikTok-y question for you. There was a video from years ago where you are taping your shin pads and like
Dude.
go all the way around and then karate chop it. I now do that because I thought it was so cool that you do it. But then it occurred to me that you were just doing that as a bit for the video, and you don't actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, my whole life is a lie.
No, I do that.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You do it every
time.
game.
Every day.
Do you
God.
ever? Does the karate chop ever go poorly?
I mean, it goes poorly as of like, it always breaks.
Yeah.
thankfully. It's not like it's like,
Can you
oh.
imagine? One game, when the game ricochets, you retire. You're like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
no.
That's when you know you don't have it
Yeah.
anymore.
No, so no, I still do it. It was funny because it was one of my teammates back in Sweden told me it was like this story about somebody trying to change as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And the guy so starting with just your underwear on.
Yeah.
And then jock,
Yeah.
whatever.
Boom,
whatever
boom,
you go.
boom. Yeah.
And he did it, and it was like just like it took him like 2 minutes and
Yep.
22 seconds to get fully
Incredible.
dressed from nothing to fully ready.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, and then started doing it, and that was like we were probably 16 or
Yeah.
17.
Okay, I actually want to talk about your childhood. Feels like the quintessential story of a hockey player kind of coming up into the game. And there's just so many awesome stories I feel like about your dad and sort of your work ethic as a young player, growing up in Lexington and playing and bringing your skates to school. And like, we read stories that you'd play in the street sometimes if you couldn't get to the pond at your grandma's house or something like that. And it was really cool seeing that your dad, he was a big hockey player, played at a high level, but it sounds like he told you if he had worked a little bit harder, maybe he would have gone that next step and that next step. Mm-hmm. And that's something that you took at a super young age to heart, and definitely seems like it helped your career to get to where you are. How was that, what was that vibe when you were a kid, like hearing that lesson and being like, you know what, I am going to bust my ass every day?
Yeah, no, I think it was important. Not that it was, like, hey, forcing me type of thing, but
Yeah.
it was certainly like we had, he'd be working out and be like, you have to do this extra workout on the weekend, and it's Sunday afternoon, and he's like, hey, where's that workout?
Yep.
You haven't done it yet.
And you're a kid, dude.
Yeah,
I think it's
and
so
it's like,
easy to
yeah, exactly.
ignore
At this
it.
point,
Yeah.
I'm probably like 12, 13, so it's at
Yeah.
least like towards,
Yeah.
like teenage, but it's still, there's still
Yeah.
other things that
For
you
sure,
like doing
yeah.
as well. But I think that was, like you started there, and then you realize as you get like 15, 16, when it becomes a little more serious, and he keeps like, referring to that. It's like, oh yeah, I wish I would have done more. And it kind of like, it puts almost like a guilt in you. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
mess that up. And at the same time, I don't think it was like, it was never to the point where you're just like, hey, you can't hang out with your friends. You got to come home and work out.
Yeah.
But it was also like looking over for sure. And
Yeah.
like making sure that, because even he could see the passion, obviously, that I had for the game. It's not like he was forcing me to play hockey, but I think he also wanted to make sure that I gave it all,
Yeah.
give
Yeah,
it a
yeah.
fair chance. And you never know, like he might just be hard on himself
Sure,
too. Like,
sure, yeah.
he might have done everything he could and more, but at the same time, he had talent, but he's, like you said, he claims he could have definitely worked harder and that way got further. So I think that was something that certainly was a good lesson early on.
That's such good motivation.
Dude.
And like putting it on himself and just like kind of casually being like, man, if I had taken 100 more shots maybe, and like now
Yeah.
the young Flip is like, I'm going to go take 100 more shots. Dude. Like, there we go.
I mean, I imagine it's in the back of your head still, right? Like once
Yeah.
you make it, you can't stop
No,
working,
for sure.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and you learn so much too, like coming into this league, because you get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm established in this league. Because first you're trying to make it, and then or as a rookie, even then you're trying to climb whether it's going up to the lineup or playing every game,
Yeah.
whatever it could be. But then you get to a point where you're kind of like, oh, I'm here type of thing. And I think I learned a lot from just guys around that's not good enough.
Yeah.
Like you get there and you still, like put up 60 points a season. Like it's a good number. Like, but then at the same time, you're like, what can I do to get more?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
And I think that's, early, like mid 20s, kind of like, still doing all right, but still realizing things
Yeah,
through
yeah.
now when I'm 30 and see guys, that I play with now that, Ryan O'Reilly, perfect example. Like he's out there every day trying to get better.
Yeah.
He's,
Beast.
it's awesome. And I've learned so much just from playing with
cool.
him for 1 year.
Yeah.
And I wish it would have came earlier
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
But that's what's cool. Like even realizing, hopefully I have a lot of years left, but there's certainly things that I wish I would have done different in
Yep.
the 20s that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now know that I'm sitting here. It's like, oh, kind of
doubt.
the same thing. It's like, I wish I would have, not been that grumpy after a,
Yeah.
a practice, but I think that's interesting. You learn a lot, and hopefully still more to go.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So 2 summers ago, I think 2022, you and Erin get married at her family's castle, dude. There's fireworks.
Was there even a question? Like when you proposed and you start planning it, were you like, yeah, where would you like to get married? Or was it just always like, we're getting married at the castle?
Yeah, I don't think there was much,
Yeah.
much of a choice. I didn't really have to push. I wasn't really trying to push for my Lexan church.
Yeah. It's a beautiful little chapel. I
Yeah,
can't
it's
wait to
great.
see it.
Yeah. You're like, there's an awesome spot. I'm just saying. Yeah.
So there's you flew a Swedish DJ out. There's fireworks. I have a million questions, but my two specific ones, first of all, are you had a Swedish candy display, which I can't even begin to pronounce, but I know it has a name. I want to know what candies are on that display that you love. And then two is you guys had specialty cocktails, the Filthy and the Sully. I want to know what those were.
Yeah. So the candy is basically.
Huge pick and mix guy, by the way.
Yeah,
So
he
like,
is.
I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, so I love the sweet and sour mix, like those type of things.
Yeah.
But the candies here in the country they're just way too sweet. Like,
Okay.
obviously candy is sweet, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be sweet. But it's just like, it tastes so artificial.
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You go to those like Sugar Me or whatever their stores, when you can get
Everything, yeah.
thing in the world. That's kind of how the grocery stores are. In
Okay.
Sweden. So you go to the grocery store and there'd be a wall that's about as big as, this wall.
Yeah, yeah.
And floor to ceiling, there's like probably 60, 70 different flavors.
Yeah.
You just get your scoop
Scoop,
in your
yeah.
bag and just fill it up. So we
heaven,
basically we're gonna do that for the wedding, but
Yep.
there's 100 and something people, so we're like, okay, we'll got to make sure we get this.
Yeah.
Candy, yeah.
So it was Aaron flew right from here to France. So
Okay.
because I was in Sweden for Ekholm's wedding, which was
Oh,
the weekend
yeah.
before.
Wow,
So
that's
I was,
awesome.
and there was right in my hometown. We're close to each other, so it was like 15 minutes from my hometown. But my parents, my brother, and my grandma flew together on that Sunday before the wedding. So we all have like probably 25 pounds of candy in each of our
In your bags?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just like, so we went to the store.
TSA's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck
they're
is
like, what
going
the fuck
on?
are these
Thankfully, it was
people
just
doing?
like Sweden to France,
Yeah.
Europe. It
Yeah.
wasn't too hard.
Oh,
but we
dude.
went and ordered like a bunch of like probably like 4 or 5 pounds of the same
Yeah.
flavors, like probably 20 of those. And then we went to the store to fill up the rest
Yeah,
that we
get the
needed.
rest.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so at one point, like the day after the wedding, there's a picture of it, but there's probably like, I mean, obviously, like people get a little bit of candy.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
didn't want to run out, so we had candy. We still have candy in our freezer from the wedding. I don't know how good it is, but it is
Oh,
in the
dude.
freezer still.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's
But like
unbelievable.
like you said, the castle has a little chapel.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where we did all the candy, because it was like the one room we didn't use, because like
Yeah.
obviously all families staying in
Yep.
there and stuff. So all the candy was lined up there.
Yep.
And then when the wedding was done, they brought it all back in there. So like Sunday after the wedding,
Yeah.
everyone is just like running in there,
Yeah.
getting
Bring
candy,
candy.
Just
in
like a
the
castle
church.
candy
Yeah,
shop.
exactly, in the chapel of the church. It
Yep.
didn't feel right. But
Are you a black licorice guy?
I like that. Yeah.
Ah, me too.
Yeah.
I love them.
I'm not there yet.
Those like I don't know what they're called, but like the little skulls that are just like covered in salt.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's covered in salt. It's insane.
So
You guys
good.
do
Have you
that.
tried it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
Dan's
love it.
girlfriend brought it back, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Dude,
So that's the trap candy that we always like. We bring.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
literally just did this 2 weeks ago because we were back home.
Yeah, yeah.
And restocked this
Yeah.
summer, and came out and we basically like, hey, you got to try these two before you try anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And they're just sitting there, and you chew on them for
Forever.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They literally
Insane.
just don't go away.
My whole
Yeah.
day was chewing
Yeah.
on that thing. I was like, what
Yeah,
is
like you're
going on?
because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
the saltiness will go away eventually, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, you're in it for the long haul,
Yeah.
buddy.
And I love it. I had
too.
literally yesterday. I sent the picture to them, like the
Yeah, yeah.
friends we went to. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, just enjoying my afternoon, and I had
Yeah.
the rest of it because we opened
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
gave them a few, and I'm just going to town on them. So
God, I think it's acquired. Like I will learn to like
It is.
And that one's
And-
probably the worst. Like
For
there's
sure.
Oh,
there's
yeah.
the salty, like the non-salty ones. They're a little sweeter, like
Yeah.
the sweet licorice.
Yep.
But that one,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely the worst for
Yeah.
sure.
the beginners.
But I like it. It's like a palate cleanser.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
like there's other stuff that's really sweet, and like you just pop one of those in, reset, and then you go back to
I
the
agree.
sweet stuff.
I
It's
agree.
perfect. But what were the
yeah.
cocktails?
What were the cocktails?
The filthy was gin and tonic because that's
Yep.
my drink. They did a little different taste. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was like a flavored tonic that made it
interesting.
like it must have been like a lemon or pear or something.
Okay, yeah.
Because it was like yellow, and I come out, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
You're like, not
but
my
it was
drink.
really good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, I approved it, and my wife doesn't drink, so that
Okay, yeah.
why she just made like I want to say there was a she made like something super sweet, like a strawberry daiquiri.
Yeah.
style,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And I think it was a mocktail option.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
we
was
did.
it a mocktail?
No, it was a real
Yeah.
drink, but
That
it
would've
was a
been awesome,
mocktail
actually, if
option.
Yeah, it's like the
It was just-
mocktail she would have
yeah,
drank.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
and that's
totally
exactly what it was, just
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
with vodka.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So it was good.
Anyone go crazy on the dance floor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who
there
was
was-
the
who-
MVP?
Who went off, dude?
There was a lot of different MVPs, like different ways. Like because people, most people have traveled.
Yeah.
Everyone
Fair,
traveled.
fair.
So like
Yeah, yeah.
nobody was
Yep.
from France. Like we had the neighbors that live across the street. They were there, and like kind of the people that
Yeah.
help out with the everything. They were invited. So there was one French table with 8 people speaking French. And, yeah. But then we tried, because what's cool is like a lot of my friends.
They're like, what the fuck is this candy, dude? Like, don't worry about it.
Don't eat the black one.
Yeah, stay away. But so my friends have been here, so a lot of them have met Aaron's friends.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
and
perfect.
family, and they kind of got along, so it was pretty easy. And we did the welcome party the night before, which was great. Everybody kind of got to know each other.
Yeah.
So by then, it's kind of like
Yep.
everybody. By the time it's dance floor time, everybody's obviously been together
ready to
for
rock.
Yeah.
6 hours. So that was cool. And but yeah, some people obviously went a little too hard
Yeah.
early. So
Yeah.
we had a few.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, there was a few early pass outs, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Was George there?
No, because they sadly started on Monday. Their preseason
I was
started on
wondering
that
if the
Monday.
schedule.
Yeah, so it didn't line up, but
I would imagine he would be a dance floor legend.
Me too.
Like,
Yeah.
come on.
I had Jacob Delarose. I was on his shoulders at one point.
No way.
So that was a
God,
nice
is
little
there a
thing.
video of that? That must be.
There's a picture for sure
Okay,
of it.
sick.
And,
Nice.
yeah, one of Aaron's nephews. He's I think 14. He's like on top of the shoulder of someone else's shoulders with a bottle of champagne, which he didn't drink. He didn't drink from, but he was just holding it, and like within half a second, somebody's there. Like,
like,
no, you're not having that.
Yeah.
So there
That's
was
so good.
There was some good stuff. Yeah.
That's going to be a great picture for him for the rest
Yes.
of his
Oh,
life.
yeah.
Like,
Yes.
look at this fucking
Look at me
moment.
going off at a castle in France.
Oh, God, that's unreal. I want to talk soccer for a second because obviously you're rocking the Liverpool shirt. Dad, big Liverpool fan.
That's right.
How did your brother become an Arsenal fan?
I know, dude.
That is a house divided moment that I will never understand.
Well, so we had a summer house. It was like 20 minutes from Lexan, so it's just like a little cabin kind of on the water that we'd go to, and this village maybe 35 cottages.
Yeah.
In this place. Everybody knows everybody. So my brother is hanging out with his friend whose dad is an Arsenal fan, and he hands him this like sweatband, whatever those are called,
Yeah.
like the wristband, like tennis players wear with his Arsenal, and he's probably 6-7 years old at this point.
It's
and that was
that's
it.
the imprint age.
That was it. Yeah.
Yep.
That's you know what, that makes sense. I feel like you get that and you're like, yep, I'm a gunner now. So
And then we had Freddie Ljungberg was obviously
right.
He was that was like right in his prime,
Okay.
like early 2000s.
Yeah.
And so my brother thought he was cool. He had the
Yeah.
red mohawk for a little bit.
Oh, really?
So like Freddie,
Yeah,
my brother used that, and his name was Frederick. So all like
Yeah.
everything kind of lined up for that.
perfectly, yeah.
And
I was gonna say, how'd your dad let it happen? But that'd be hard to deny.
yeah,
I think you're like, okay.
I think he was okay because it was Arsenal. It was
Yeah.
it was a rival, but not like
yeah.
Man U type of style.
Yeah.
At least,
Yeah, right,
Man U
fair.
would never have gone.
Never
That would've
fly,
been-
dude.
but you guys have had some awesome moments, like Dad's 50th birthday. You go to the Liverpool Arsenal game, 4-0 win. It's tough for the brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Really tough for the brother. And then obviously yesterday, Chelsea game, 2-1 win.
Yep.
I feel
You
like,
went to the bridge
Can
last
you
summer.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
mhm.
sick.
For the opener.
Can you admit to me that maybe that foul on Sancho should have been a penalty?
Yeah, but so should the one before Liverpool's actual called penalty. I think it was
was
Jota
kinda
that
soft.
went down. The penalty was clear cut, shin on shin. You can't do that.
It was shit on shit.
But the first one, the one that with Salah from behind, that which they didn't call.
That should have been.
You think that should have
I
been?
should have been. But then the one on Jones, the second one that was VAR
Yeah.
called, that
Yeah.
was correct. That was
Yes.
the goalie got the
Yes,
ball.
yeah,
Like,
he
you
got
can't
the ball.
just
Yeah. Oh,
trip.
yeah. That was. I forgot about that one. That
yeah,
was wild.
that was crazy
Yeah.
when they gave that. But
I can agree that the sound it's borderline.
It probably
Like,
washed out. Honestly,
I
they
think
probably
you're right.
deserved
I think you're right.
a penalty.
I will say, how soft pens are these days is ruining
Oh,
the game.
it's tough.
It's mental. Like it's those ones where it's like it's not even a scoring chance. I feel like those should be. We need to change it to indirect free kicks or something.
I have a
Yes,
take.
I
The
agree.
box is too big.
But yeah,
Like,
I can see that.
that's
But also the
just-
handball on the one chance there. There was two
Oh, yeah.
players that
Yeah.
hit the one guy's handball, and then it wasn't. I don't think it would have been a penalty either way.
Yeah.
But it was they hit the one guy's arm, and he's like
Yeah.
doing the
Yeah, that is
freeze.
true.
Yeah. And then it goes off the other guy's hand, and I'm like, how did like
both.
both these can't be like coincidental,
Yeah.
coincidental, whatever. Like,
That's so true.
so I don't know what the rule is because it
Yeah.
used to be arms to body.
Yep.
And then they changed it to like if it's not on purpose.
Yeah,
who
right.
would whack the ball with
Yeah,
his hand on
and there's some
purpose.
egregious ones over the
I know,
past
They,
few
they
years.
say
And
it's
then-
like if you can't react, but you also just can't be like this.
Yeah.
You can't be standing like this.
But like, and sure, like if you're running, but
No,
like,
if my
you gotta
hand
know a
prevents
little-
a ball from going on net, that's a handball. Like I don't care if I did it on purpose.
exactly, yeah,
It's crazy.
But yeah.
It's absolutely mental. As you know, I imagine you're a big Klopp guy.
Mm-hmm.
So something I'm always curious about: do you hate City, or do you appreciate what they're doing? Because like you guys would have at least 2 more titles, if not for what cities.
I saw this stat. There was, I think, if you changed 3 games
Yeah.
in the last, like in the Klopp era,
Yeah.
they would have had 2 more Premier Leagues and another Champions League.
Yeah.
Which puts them
Wow.
at 5 trophies.
That's a crazy way to put it. 3 games.
It's
3
crazy.
games because they've lost to City, I think, the one year, which ended up
Yep.
City ended up winning by 1
Yep.
point.
1 point.
And then the next year was the same thing. And then obviously they lost to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they lost to Real Madrid twice in the finals. Technically, if you add
Yeah.
another game there,
Yeah, right.
That's 3. But 3 in Champions Leagues, that would have been a little outrageous.
That
but
1 point season, it's like 2 of the best Premier League seasons of all time.
I think that's what it is,
It's-
right? 100 and something and 100 right behind, and then
it's so shitty in those moments because you're like you want to hate Pep and City, but you're like, I mean, Pep's probably the greatest manager of all time.
And like you see what money can do, but also you see what it can't do in like Man United at the
Yeah.
moment. Like Chelsea, now it's getting better, but you guys have bought more players than anyone in the history of Premier
Dude,
League.
they spent $1 billion on players.
But like you
It's
see, so
absolutely
Man
ridiculous.
City obviously can spend. They spend the same, but all their hirings are done well. Like
Yes.
you bring in like the 1 year, okay, they bring in Rodri all of a sudden, like, oh, okay, well now they can't lose.
Definitely.
Yeah, right.
Like every player is brought in specifically for a job. They just don't see the new shiny toy and like, oh, this guy had 26 crossovers in the Dutch league. Let's bring him in for 100 million.
Yeah.
So
You're talking about Mikhailo Mudryk.
Yeah.
him
I was
and
about to say, I was like,
Anthony
that's such a
for
ricochet at Chelsea.
yeah, dude,
Anthony for
Have you
Man.
noticed this? It's going on online, like on Instagram in particular. This joke that Anthony is like the greatest player of all time. Have you seen this?
I saw something about
I'm gonna
like
start-
early on when they first signed him that Man U thought it was a bargain, and the Ajax fans like, bargain? This is the best day in our lives.
Yes.
Like, thank God you guys bought him.
Dude, I'm gonna start sending these to you. It's like it's this bit that fans on Instagram are doing. They're like, someone will post a video. It's like, man on the street interview, and they're like, top 10 footballers of all time, and guys will name their top 10, and all the comments are like, where's Anthony? Where's Anthony? How's Anthony not top 3? And it's
good.
like it's taken like wildfire, but it fucking cracks me up every time. But so obviously you become a huge football fan, and it's now led into the MLS, and you are a co-owner or part owner of the Nashville team here, and then we've got Bex coming over and starting a team in Miami and bringing Messi there. How fun has it been for you to just having been a lifelong fan, going to games with your dad and your brother, now all of a sudden you're involved in the MLS and you're seeing the MLS growing? That must be awesome.
Oh, for sure. It was one of these moments, because obviously John Ingram, the main owner, approached us if we wanted to be, part of it. And I'm like, this is a no-brainer.
Hell yes, dude.
And like it's hard to, because even like talking to financial guys, it's not like you can see like, hey, we're gonna get X amount in X amount of years. So, like I was like, I don't really care. Like if this tanks in 5 years, that was the best,
what a ride,
coolest 5 years ever.
Yeah.
But so once we got that opportunity, I thought it was so cool just to kind of be a part of that. And 6 months later, Messi comes in, and we're like, oh, all right. And then fast forward a couple more months, Nashville plays Messi in Miami in the final of the League's Cup, who nobody cared about. Like they literally were fans. They were like, do we have to go to these games early on, because they weren't included in the season ticket package. So then we ended up beating someone, and then beaten Cincinnati, I think, early on, which was a rival, and it was on the road, and they were number 1. So it was like, oh, cool, we're actually doing something. We played the backup goalie who has a helmet like Peter Cech.
Yeah.
And he comes out and saves, I think, 2 penalties in the PKs, and then we win against them and beat some Mexican team, and it was just like a crazy ride. And at this point, it's quarterfinal, and the whole city is like, oh,
wait, what's going on here?
This is kind of cool. We might win something. And then Messi ends up playing the final. That was wild.
So
wild.
Yeah.
So
30,000 people. Like tickets were thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can go to the game probably if there was a game tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
$27.
Yeah.
But that whole ride was so cool, and playing, like if somebody told me you'd see Leo Messi live in Nashville,
Dude.
I'd be like,
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
right. What is he doing?
Yeah.
Is he singing?
exactly.
What do you think it's going to take for, because we're seeing it growing and growing, but like, do you think we'll get to a point eventually where the MLS is obviously maybe not on par with the Prem, but like a better product, that like really talented players are choosing the MLS over other leagues? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it happening for sure. Just like the infrastructure of you, because at the end of the day, players you need, like you're not going to go to Leeds maybe if you're living in, like if you can go to New York, you're probably going to go there. So that is in favor of the U.S.
Ricochet shot at Leeds.
Yeah.
But
I've never been, so I guess maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that part is here, and now like obviously Messi, there's no better ambassador for the league.
Truly.
And like he brings basically like, hey, I want my buddies to come, so they get Busquets and Alba and Suarez now. And
remember that? It was so nuts. Like when he signed, the Miami's Instagram went from like,
Dude,
I don't know if you saw this. It went from like 500,000 followers to 50 million in like 2 hours.
overnight. Yeah.
The league, like the reports were like they were like,
Yeah.
"Oof, okay."
Yeah, right.
And like he didn't even play here the first year minus the final because
Yeah.
he came, he had
Yeah.
already played them.
That's right.
And
Oh, yeah.
but like that was it. So
Yeah.
everybody was like, "Oh dang, we missed Messi." Then
Yeah.
happened to be a final that he came here. So that was. I do think that it's going to be hard just with the competition.
Yeah.
Because if you go to like England, obviously soccer is by far the biggest. Same in Spain and Germany. Like
For sure.
But it's never going to get to that point. But it doesn't have to. Like
Yeah,
the
it's a good
US
point.
has so much to offer anyway. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see,
yeah.
pretty much every major city has a sport.
Yep.
team in
Yeah.
every sport.
For sure.
They all do well.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
And it's
absolutely.
just, it's awesome that there are great U.S. cities now like Nashville, Austin, Miami that have cool MLS teams with great stadiums, good fan bases. It's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Before we move on from football, are you aware of Victor Gyökeres? Dude, he's coming to the Prem this summer.
He has
It
to.
might even be in January.
Yeah.
And
They-
I've
yeah.
been on this dude.
Yeah,
I've talked to Juice about it a million times. I've been on this dude for like 3 years. And the fact that now the world is being like, oh, he's nasty.
Yeah.
And I'm just terrified.
There's been like one game this year he hasn't scored in.
Yeah.
that's-
Like not has scored.
Literally,
Has
yeah.
not
Hasn't,
scored.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And like
crazy.
including national team, I think he scored in all 4 of the games we
Yeah.
played so far, and obviously we're in the
Yep.
C Nation
Yeah.
league, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
play like Estonia and Slovakia.
Yeah. But he's a
else, but-
weapon. And you know what kills me? He would be perfect on Liverpool. It ruins me.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah, we'll see now because Darwin Nunes is. I'm assuming this is his last.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Like last hurrah if he really turns it around here.
yeah.
So we'll see. I was so pumped when we signed him, but he just hasn't.
Yeah, it happens.
Just,
Yep.
He just doesn't score. Like he does.
He
a lot of
literally
things,
doesn't
but
score.
He just.
Prep's tough, dude.
Yeah, it
Prep's
is.
tough.
Oh, it
Prep's
is.
tough.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is.
Taking a quick break from the podcast to talk to you guys about our amazing BetMGM partnership. And I got a new one for you. I know you think CP, I've heard this ad read before. I already know the offers. Wrong, my friend. Very wrong. I have a very cool new offer for you, okay? And it's a bet 10, get 200 in bonus bets offer, okay? The promo code this time is AF200. AF200 when you're logging onto the BetMGM app. All right. And what that means is you place a $10 minimum bet on any sport, right? I want you to bet on hockey because I love betting on hockey, but you can bet on baseball playoffs, World Series right around the corner. You can bet on the NFL action that's going on. NBA's coming up soon, whatever. Bet $10 and they will put $200 in bonus bets into your account. That is awesome. So download the app, AF200, and get at it. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotionals not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Bet 10, get 200 instantly. Offers only available in D.C., Massachusetts, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Colorado.
All right, babes, we're taking a quick break from the pod to tell you about our great partner, Bauer Hockey. You know all about Bauer Hockey. They're the best brand in hockey, and it's not even close. What we're going to talk about today is their new twig that's out, the Bauer Twitch. This thing is truly unbelievable. Bauer sent a couple twigs to CP and I, this new Bauer Twitch, and we're legitimately feeling the future. The Bauer Twitch is made with their new Twitch taper technology. It's an unbelievable development. It's the first of its kind in hockey sticks, and it's made to give you a quicker release to feel your flex more, and it's specifically designed for the next generation of goal scorers. We're seeing players all over the league right now who are scoring at a rate that is preposterous. You look at David Pastrnak, and he's just absolutely ripping the puck through the back of the net, and it's because of the new technology that Bauer is doing. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Twitch because it's got so many unreal things going on for it. The Twitch taper technology, like I talked about, that is all about faster loading and recoil. You're working with that flex and the kick point better than ever, so your shot's going to get faster, it's going to get quicker, and you're going to be able to reload much faster. The boron fiber material, this thing only weighs 345 grams. It's got an unbelievable light feel. It still feels sturdy and strong. And like we said, that shot is never going to look better. Then they've got the Techstream and rounded shaft. It's enhanced protection on the stick. It's not going to break as easily. You're going to feel it in your hands unbelievably. And then they also got the stiff blade core. More pop in your shot every single time you rip the puck. The Bauer Twitch is the next gen of sticks for the next gen of scorers. And I'm telling you, when they say feel the future, you do feel it. Everything about this stick is going to elevate your game. Unbelievable. Make sure you go to Bauer Hockey's website, go to the Twitch page, and check out this new stick, because it's the stick that you need to get to that next level, like Bauer does for you every single time.
Okay, so we like we said at the top, drafted by the Capitals actually, but then traded to the Preds before you ever even play there. It worked out quite nicely for the Preds. Youngest player to score, like first ever franchise playoff Hattie, like all these epic stats that have happened before you here in Nashville. 2 summers ago, it's your first time you become an unrestricted free agent in your career, and you sign the big ticket to stay. My question is, were there any other teams in the mix that you were even considering, or was it like, this is home, I love it here, I want to build something in this city?
I mean, we never got to free agency.
Yeah.
So like I signed, obviously, I think it ended up being 5 or 6 days before.
Yeah.
But so I didn't have anything like concrete, like my agent, like, oh, this team would like it, this team would do this. But until, it's official.
Yeah.
Official, like I'm assuming that nobody, like it's not like I had any other deals.
Right.
Or anything like that. But it's always that little excitement, because like, I mean, at the end of the day, you want to be wanted.
Right. Yeah, right,
like
sure.
whether,
yeah.
So like if you go on free agency, that's probably the biggest confidence boost you can get. Like I'd hope so.
So flattering. Yeah, right.
It's
I
either
guess it
that
can
or
go
the
bad.
complete opposite. But
You're not dating anymore. Like that's as close as you get.
Yeah,
Like all these
exactly.
people like me.
Yeah, there's
That's
all
awesome.
these teams want to do all these things. Yeah, but at the same time, we wanted to feel that from Nashville.
Yeah.
And we felt like, don't get me wrong, like we always felt like they wanted to sign, but like,
Oh, of course.
you want that, like,
For sure,
you want it
yeah.
badly to
Yep.
be like, hey, well, if we're leaving, they're like, all right, you don't want that feeling either,
Yeah.
which I think it never really got to that. But yeah, I mean, it's a great hand to be here,
Yes.
like for Nashville too, it's an easy negotiation, the place, the fans, tax, obviously everybody knows
sure.
for tax
Yep.
reasons.
Yeah.
So it's a good spot to be if you're a GM.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
for sure,
Great
compared
point.
to some
Yep.
places. But obviously the deal we ended up working out was awesome.
Yep.
We didn't want to move at all, but we were also open to it. I'm not gonna
Sure,
lie.
yeah.
If it would have had to happen, we would have been okay with it. But we love this place. It's our favorite place. Like we're most likely retiring here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a funny balance, the excitement like you just talked about, but also maybe being a little scared of like, oh shit, like we might have to move our family, all the friends we have here.
Yeah.
I feel like that must be such a weird tightrope to walk. When
for sure.
When you're like, this is cool, but also terrifying.
Yeah. But it definitely, because there's times when like negotiations go, like it goes, okay, they want us, you can
God.
go. It's just up and down.
Yeah.
And that's that obviously there's days when we're like, we're leaving. We're not going to stay here. And it's funny because like obviously my wife is very level headed when it comes to everything.
Yeah,
But in
good.
this, she's like, like they don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going. We're not staying here anymore. And then
I love that, Aaron. Come
Yeah.
on.
Let's go, Aaron.
Then because she's all team me, obviously. She doesn't care about
yeah.
anything else. Like she doesn't see any of the arguments. She's
Yeah.
just like, no, this is the number. We're not going anywhere if this is not it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well,
Yeah.
sounds like we're gonna go somewhere else. So
In division rivals, you don't care, dude. Yeah.
yeah, so I think that was because especially with the contract, like obviously she understands.
Yeah.
But she's new to hockey. Like she obviously
Oh,
didn't
sure.
grow up with anything with hockey. Like I taught her everything about hockey.
Yeah.
Like now she knows everything. But
Yeah.
But it's and she's so passionate and so like wants the best, obviously
Yeah.
for me but like
Sure.
yeah, she's just like in her mind, I should have been like 50 million a year.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah. 5-0.
Which is like the best wife you can have,
Yeah.
obviously.
50 AAV.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, hey, I love that about you.
Yeah.
But
You're like, Aaron, so this
She's
is
doing
this is
press
cap, this is what
conferences.
cap
Yeah.
face is called.
yeah. So if we do that, you might have to play on my line.
Yeah.
this year.
Do you know how to skate? Because we're probably gonna have to pull you
We're
in.
down a couple.
Yeah. Are you calling Ryan O'Reilly to tell him he's cut, or how does that work?
Oh,
But
my
I think
God.
so. It was a fun experience. Yeah, and obviously, like I said, it could not have worked
Yep.
out any better just being
Yeah.
here, locking up, and having that security.
It must feel great,
So,
right?
yeah,
Where
for
you're
sure.
like, this is it, dude. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah,
That's all.
For sure. I feel like last season was such a crazy whirlwind for you guys. You were a playoff bubble team. You get in the wild card. There's obviously that amazing U2 story.
So good.
And in 18 games, 16-0-2, most points in a stretch in franchise history. And then you personally, career highs, everything, almost touched 50 goals, almost 100 points. What was that season like? Like looking back right now, are you like, Jesus, that was a roller coaster?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, I think we were 5-10 in the first 15 games.
Yeah.
And obviously, a lot of new pieces, and it's not like we we were playing all right, but it's like we'd lose. We basically beat ourselves. Like there's a lot of like not doubt, but a lot of like I don't know if the system is working because there's so many guys that came from like different places, or we played the same system here for whether it was Laviolette or to Heinz, it was pretty similar. But this was like night and day for everyone.
Okay,
on because just like that high flair, and we had a talented roster, but we weren't the Panthers when they when Brunette won the Presidents. They had 3 lines there, and they won 6-5, and they lose 6-5.
Yeah, right.
And here we are. Barry Trotz started the trend. When he was coach here, and then with Laviolette was a little more offensive, but then back to Heinz defensive.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we're like, night and day.
We're
winning. We're trying to like outscore teams here. And it didn't really click right away.
Yeah.
Like we'd lose, it'd be 6 goals. We'd score 3, but it'd be 6-3.
Yeah.
We're like, 3. We used to win by 3. Like if we score 3, we're winning.
That was
for
a
the
dub.
most part. Yeah. But I think that so once it we almost had to like dull it down a little bit.
Sure.
So then we could bring it back up, and once we got better defensively, get the goals down to 3, 4, 2. Like we have Saros, obviously, best goal in the world, but it didn't matter, it didn't matter because we just gave up too much. But then we started tightening things up, and we get more points out of it, and guys started realizing it's like, oh, okay. And then once that was locked down, we can turn the page and start going, playing more aggressive. And that's obviously when things really came together on the second half.
No doubt. I feel like you guys were such a case study in, you go through that bad stretch, 5-10, but it's, it must be a combination of frustrating, but also motivating, knowing like we're better than this. Because, you've been on teams. We've all been on teams where you're like, there's great guys on this team, but, we don't have it. We're not as good as, X, Y, and Z teams. But when you're in a situation like that, when you're losing, you have a losing record, and you're like, we are better than this. It's how did you guys kind of push through going into that, post U2 stretch? Because that's not a fluke, right? Like,
no.
You guys got PP whacked, and it was like, all right, we got to be better. And then you were. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, no, but I think that it obviously looks, night and day on the
on
the paper
splits,
from the outside. Like we lost and whatever, and then we won 16 out of 18. But it was coming before that. Like we started, like I said, from the second half. I say from probably like, even we were on a trip in November. That was kind of like the end of our, 5-10, like that tough stretch. That's when we started realizing that we're just losing too easy. Like it was too easy to beat us. And that's when kind of like, and then it's not like, you realize and you fix it the next day. It doesn't work like that. So I think that was kind of the start of it. And then it got better and better and better. And then bye week, and then we had those 2 bad. We beat Arizona, but it was bad.
Yeah.
We didn't play that well. And then got shit kicked by or New Jersey and Dallas. And then U2.
No concept.
U2. So I think that was good at the moment, because the bye week, bye weeks are always you come back and you're not really sure. Like it's not like everybody takes a game to get locked in, but we needed that almost like snap back to what we were building, and then after that,
it is cool.
Wait. Who of the boys was most pissed about the cancellation? Because I imagine there was a huge U2 fan in that locker room that was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
It's hard to say. I think everybody was more excited about the whole thing, because it's not
sphere,
like exactly. Well, the sphere, like
It's a whole ordeal.
I don't care about U2.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
What I know about U2 is the song you get, the album you get
My
on
iPhone that
Yeah,
was
so it
lots
comes.
of
Yeah,
playing,
and I know every song by word. Like I know every single song, because sometimes I don't care to turn it off. I'm just like, I listen. To it. And it's not bad.
I kind of hate YouTube for
of that,
that.
dude.
Like Apple poisoned my mind, because like when it comes on when I don't want it to,
so
I'm like,
funny.
fucking goddamn it, YouTube.
Yeah, so like, and obviously, I'm assuming none of those songs would have been played.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
but then I was thrilled about that, and we were going to play golf. It was going to be, because we played, I think, Saturday in St. Louis. Early.
Yeah.
It was like a 1:00 start, so we're going to fly right to Vegas, do Saturday night, do Sunday golf, and U2 Sunday, and then practice Monday, play Tuesday. It was going to be like a nice trip. So it's like I was more sad about the whole thing being canceled, because instead we just went home. I think we didn't practice Sunday, but we flew like early to Vegas, had an absolute rinse of a skate in Vegas. And so I think, like, I don't know who would have been the most mad. I think everybody was just, thrilled about that. The whole view. Like we had our golf clubs shipped out. Our trainers might have been more pissed, because
they were pissed.
because we were gonna
"God
play
damn it."
like one of our head equipment guy. He's a massive golf guy, so we are gonna play. I can't remember the course, but one of the really nice courses out there in Vegas. But now we popped in at like Monday afternoon instead. So it.
Oh right, so he didn't even get to go. I was
He
going
didn't get to go.
stuck out, but no, he got
He's
back
like,
too.
he's like, I'm not playing shitty. What the fuck?
Send me out, So it's
when you have numbers like that, like you did last year, what does that do for you coming into this year? Are you like, that's the bar now? Or is it just like, no, just keep building on what I'm doing?
I think it's hard. Like you can't really put numbers. Like there was one year I had 4 goals at Christmas, I think.
Yeah, right.
And it was my last like not the one I just signed, my first like coming out of my entry level, and I was like had a good.
I'm out of the league. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, basically, I had a good because I played my first year I was in the minors mostly, but we did burn a year on the contract.
Yeah, yeah.
So like my second year was my rookie year on the deal,
Yeah.
and the third year ended up being my second full year was my third year on the contract. So I was all right, oh, perfect. We'll have a good year and back that up, and 4 goals at Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow. Yeah. And then ended up with 33 or something like that because I scored I think 15 in February. It was something like ridiculous. Just got on a roll. And so since then it's like, oh, you know what? Just let's not focus on that. Let's just focus on playing. And I think that's the same thing now. Like there's obviously our team is, on paper it looks better. Like our power play certainly looks better, and I think there's opportunity is there to do it, but at the same time, if our team wins, we barely squeaked into the playoffs.
Right, yeah.
So, like, we had a great run, but we had to get in. Like, it's not like we were on a great run to win the conference or win the division. So I think that's more, if I lose, 10, 15 points, but our team picks up 10, 15 wins, like that's, at the end of the day, what we want to do.
For.
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds boring as hell when you say it. But that's like at this point in my career, like obviously it was really cool to kind of get to those numbers. 50 would be awesome.
Yeah.
Will be awesome.
Yeah, it would be like for sure. And I appreciate that support. But
but
it's like scoring goals is just such an interesting thing because obviously our season so far, like it's been proof of that. Like we played decent. We could have scored a lot and we haven't. And then there's times when you feel like crap and you have 2 goals. It's like, all right. And so I think it's hard to focus on just that. It's easy to get caught up in it, especially when you're younger. Like, don't get me wrong. There's times when I'm like 10 goals in like 10 games in a row and I'm like, same thing you said. I'm out of the league. Now I feel like I'm doing a little more good things. When
what
I'm
do you
not
do
scoring
personally when you feel like you're in a rut like that? Like that season you were talking about right after the entry level, 5 goals at Christmas. What do you do personally to get yourself out of that?
At that point, I was probably just beating the head on the wall. At like 20, 21, whatever I was then. But I think now it's like I said, I feel like I've gained more trust. Like playing all situations. I'm not on the penalty kill, but like I'm out there when we pull the goalie to score and to defend. So like, I think those are things that I've learned to take a lot more pride in than I did when I first came in. And just playing with O'Reilly, keep bringing that up, but just seeing all the stuff that he does, it's learned. Like he taught me so much. Like not that he does it on purpose, just does his thing, but it's so contagious. You can watch it and see, and like there's a reason why he's done all the things he's done. On Cup champion teams in Canada, and like it's really cool. So like I'm not gonna be him and snap and draws and play defense like that, but just being reliable defensively, I think that's something that like there's gonna be games like the other night, like you don't score, but I try to like help the team, like be a factor and play the game and just kind of contributing in different ways.
Block a couple shots.
I don't know about that.
Easy.
I'll try, but
we saw some funny articles about all you guys reacting to this summer. But what was that like when you're like refreshing the phone in July and it's like Stammer, Marshy, Shazy?
Is the team group chat blowing up in that moment?
Holy shit, we're doing it.
We were in Georgia at Aaron's family's place, and I'm at this gym, just some random gym that like I just Googled like gym now, like Pittsburgh. I'm like, oh, this perfect. This was actually really nice. The guy was great who ran it too. But so I'm in there and just like get a text from Shenner. I'm like, what's Shenner want? Like and he just like Stammer's coming, and that was at probably 11 a.m.
Was it not announced yet? Like
no, it was 2 hours before the deadline. So I knew that was like they're obviously buddies and all that stuff. But then he texted like Stammer's coming. I'm like, hey, don't mess around. Like this has got to be real. And he's like, he's signing. He's done. I'm like, let's go. So then like pump and iron. A little easier that.
Everything.
And then got home, did my whatever recovery, all that. And then it was like 12:45. So I'm like, oh, I guess we'll see. And then a couple of deals always come out at like 12:50, unofficially official. And then I saw like Shea. I'm like, oh, okay, perfect. Because we lost McDonough. Obviously, we had to replace him with someone.
For sure.
And they went and got, in my opinion, the best defender out there, available. And then I was like, oh, perfect. That's
we're
it.
Good.
Like we're laughing right now. And then like 10 minutes later, Marsha, I'm like, how do we get this guy too? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I was just waiting to see like who's been cut. Like, if I'm just checking my phone, it's like, no, actually, we're good. I got an trade. We're good. We're good for this year at least. So,
dude, I was actually in London, in England, that day. So I was like, I don't even know what time it was, but all that shit started going, and I actually broke the Marshy one.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
information got slipped to me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Because I was doing the same thing. I was like, "Stammer and Shea, holy shit!" And then that happened, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude!"
A
And
nice little street source in London.
yeah,
London,
dude.
UK. Somebody knew.
Some random guy in a pub was like, "Hey, by the way," no, but that I mean, like, I can only imagine you guys must have just been like, "Holy shit, dude!"
Yeah,
like that.
you all start texting.
Oh yeah, well, like this, because it was. This is hilarious too. But the best part is so Barry Trotz text me, Factor O'Reilly,
Yeah.
and Yost in a group chat, just the four of
Yep.
us. And he's at the draft. I think the draft was this day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something.
Yeah, it was
going
like
on out
right-
there.
yeah,
I think
it was like
Yost
2
was
days
with
before.
him. But he basically, this is like 5-6 hours after, so everyone knows.
Yeah.
Like he just drops, "Hey guys, signed," and it says Stamkos, Marchessault, Shea, and then Carrier because he had re-signed.
Oh, yeah,
Carrier.
yeah.
And there was it. Just like
That's the text.
Yeah, basically like little information like, "Hey, just so you know, I signed these guys."
Yeah.
And we're all just like, I was waiting to see like, is somebody gonna respond to this or whatever?
Yeah.
And then Factor and Yost we texted in a group chat. He's like, what do we say to Trotzy? Yeah. He's like, "Let's just pump him up." And
Yeah, so-
Factor responded like, "Hell yeah, let's go, great job," or something like
Great
that.
job, boss.
But
I
it was
wish he had
such a
just thumbs up it. You know,
Yeah, like, that's
just
like, it's
thumbs
not
up.
like you guys are on that group chat a lot, right?
No,
that was just like a
that's the
random
only-
That's the first
Yeah.
time that's ever happened.
Yeah, exactly. It's the first text, and it's just like nothing like, "Hey guys, just wanted to let you know," just like, "Hey guys, signed,"
Signed.
and then a space and then a couple
Yeah.
names. And
That is
just
so funny.
frame that
It's like a dad being like pumped up about
Yeah.
something, like sending your kids a text, and you're like, "Way to go, man!"
yeah,
This
that's
is really
exactly how it
awesome.
was. We were like, perfect.
Oh, that's
That is
fucking
so
beautiful.
great. Yeah.
All right. Before we let you go, we want to play a game that we do with all our guests. It's called Pass, Shoot, Score. So basically, this game is we're going to give you a few things that we know are important to you, things that you might like, and you got to rank them. So passing the puck's great, but shooting's a little bit better, and then scoring's obviously the ultimate goal. So pass is going to be 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
So your first one is going to be restaurants. Pass, shoot, score. Bourbon Steakhouse, Jeff Ruby's, and Locust.
Ooh. That's a hat trick right there.
Yeah, yeah.
That might be the best answer we've ever
Yeah,
had
it
to that score.
I mean, if I have to, I'm gonna pass on Jeff Ruby's.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
I know, but that is a really good spot though. I can't choose. I
That's
know.
acceptable.
Yeah.
I think I might allow this. This might be the first
Yeah.
ever, but I
Well,
might
Because
allow
they're
it.
so different. Like Locust, obviously very different to
Sure.
Bourbon Steak, but I know people in both. Like I know
Okay.
the main man at both
Okay,
of them,
yeah, yeah.
and they're both phenomenal people.
Yeah, yeah,
Max
yeah.
and AJ.
No,
over
it'll be a
so,
brace.
yeah,
2
it's,
goals.
It's a 2
Nice.
goals. Yeah.
I like it.
What are we ordering at both places?
Well, Locust it's one of everything because the menu is so
Okay.
small.
Yeah,
So
right.
like we usually get.
Is it kind of like a tapas vibe? Or is it like
It is shareable. It's
Okay.
definitely more of like a tasting menu setup.
nice. Got it.
But the first time we went with Max, who's the guy
Yeah.
who runs the place, and he basically is like, "We're getting everything."
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sounds great.
Because we're 4 people, so it's easy
Sure.
to share. And so we get to the end, and there's this. What's it called? Shaved ice dessert. Who I'm not a big like shaved ice fan.
big
You
in
know,
our
if
town,
you go
yeah.
to like the fair or stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, but this is the best thing I've ever had in my entire life, and it was like probably it was the size of a loaf of bread.
Yep.
Okay.
And they had a little because they go obviously they run like him and his wife they are
Yeah.
there a lot, and then my wife had a little bit, and I ate the whole. I'm telling you, I ate like 12 slices of bread.
Yeah.
of the size of it.
Yeah.
and it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that
Are you just ripping it with a spoon?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's literally just like some take a little bit, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, you guys, are you get done?
You're like, it's melt.
Yeah.
I'm like,
gonna
okay.
eat it. Yeah,
So I
yeah,
just started pounding it, and at Bourbon Steak, the tuna tartare.
Oh.
the pine.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
pine nuts
Yep.
and pear.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
that one's
yeah.
a unbelievable
That's
appetizer.
solid.
That's great.
And then I almost always get the Snake River ribeye. I think it's a ribeye or
Okay,
a New York
yeah.
strip, something like that.
Nice.
It's a beautiful steak.
Beautiful piece
And
of meat. Yeah.
just on the food topic, not a Nashville hot chicken guy.
Not really, no. I'm not
it the
super.
spice?
Yeah, the
Spicy guy.
spice.
Yeah,
I'm not a
yeah.
spicy guy.
Okay, okay.
Don't get me wrong. I love fried chicken,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. The
not,
spice
it
will
doesn't
get
have to be.
Well, it can get dangerous here, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you don't they're like medium, and I'm like that's not medium. That's the
dude.
hottest thing I've ever.
Yeah, like the
tasted.
medium at
Yeah.
Hattie B's is like I'm
joke.
on the
yeah, you
toilet
get like
2 minutes later.
1 to 10. Like I'm 0.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah,
like
yeah.
no spice.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
You cook a lot?
Not anymore.
You guys go
I
out,
used to
yeah.
cook a little
Yeah.
bit more. We don't go out a lot necessarily either. So I got a nice.
We heard you got a
food
sous
service.
vide though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who told you that?
Dude,
Don't
you get a
worry
little
about
bird.
it. Don't worry about who told
We had a
Bird.
nice little sous vide. It was what? Yeah, for Oilers game.
Yeah.
When Eki and Harvey, they came over. They had a nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude.
made some nice steaks for them. Actually.
That
Sous
thing is-
vides are.
It's a game
unbelievable.
changer, dude.
You
that
can
was
do
one
anything.
of the first dates with Aaron. Was I was gonna cook dinner.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I just learned about it. Was Nick Bonino. He was a big food guy.
Oh,
he was
nice.
here with our team. So he told me about it. He said, you got to get it. It's foolproof. I'm like,
Oh,
foolproof.
dude,
It's
we'll
amazing.
see. So I tried it. First time I tried it. Unbelievable.
It's crazy. It's
And I
crazy.
just had an apartment, so it was perfect. I
Yeah.
just put it in there for a couple hours and then seared
Yeah.
it for a couple minutes each
Yep.
side. And I was like, I'm
a chef.
I am a
This
chef.
is
Michelin star
restaurant
chef.
style.
Yeah,
And yeah, since then we don't use it as because now I have a grill
Yeah.
at the house.
Yeah.
So now it's a little easier with that. But I
Still nice to mix it in, though, dude. Yeah.
that was first time in a while, and it turned out really well.
Yep.
Are you a burger guy? Mm-hmm. Try
Yeah.
burgers.
Sous vide burgers?
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. Like our dad did it, and we were like, "Nah, I'm not doing that." And then I was like, "All right, I'll give it a try." It was unbelievable.
And then just obviously a quick
Yeah,
Quick sear,
quick
same
sear on
deal.
the grill
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Yeah, grilled. I like the
Yeah.
bars, so just the grill. Yeah, just
Yeah.
make it look nice. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's perfect.
That's what I did with the steaks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I got to try that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, your next category is fashion. Okay. Pass, shoot, score. Your and Aaron's Halloween costumes. Your and Aaron's Christmas sweaters. Or the Robbie Fowler Liverpool jersey you got when you were 10.
I mean, if it could fit, it'd still be it'd be very crop toppy at this point.
Do you have it?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I got to go check that out. I have so many things in my parents, and every
Yeah,
year
yeah.
I come home and my mom's like, "Hey, how about you clean out that closet upstairs?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
Nah, I'm actually
Sure.
jammed
I feel like
up.
Felix needs to get that
Yeah, yeah.
jersey. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Yeah, so I would say that the Christmas sweaters are actually they're pretty electric, but they'll be pass.
Okay.
They'll be
Okay.
pass.
Yep.
Robbie Fowler would be shoot, and
Yep.
the Halloween,
Halloween.
would be score. Even
Can
though we
you-
did disappoint ourselves a little bit last year with the because I mean she was pregnant, so it does. We
Yeah,
could
yeah,
use that as
it
an
hinders
excuse.
it.
But we
The,
were inflatable dinosaurs last year.
Okay.
We were actually here at this place.
Yeah.
The-
And the tail is like 9 feet tall, so I was just like smacking around.
That's hilarious.
Can you?
I was gonna say,
inside
yeah.
info. What are you guys doing this year?
If it's a surprise, you don't have to tell us yet.
It is a surprise,
Okay.
but it's a multi-couple thing. That's all I can say.
Your Nightmare Before Christmas was gas.
Yeah, that was good.
That was
Dude,
gas.
that was good. The
Yeah, that
Game of Thrones is probably my favorite. That one was the
Yo,
best because
that
it turned
was
out
so good, too.
so well. Like
Yep.
her hair and everything. Like it took way too long.
Yeah.
but she had some hair.
Yeah.
Dude,
people.
we're huge costume Halloween guys. It's and like I love it when you see the boys
Yeah.
go all in.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's really
Yeah, we
good.
felt bad because we did that. We did the Spaceman one, which was a very last minute, you
Yep.
know, like Spirit Halloween. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, we'll do
yeah.
this. But that's not us. We were very
No,
little
no.
more.
Yeah, you got to go all in.
I know.
Okay. Next one's musical artists. Pass, shoot, score. Your good buddy Justin Bieber,
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, Cascada.
I respect Bruce, but I'm not like a diehard Bruce
Oh,
fan.
okay.
Okay.
So he'll be on pass.
Okay.
Beeps will be 2, and Cascada will be number.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, because she sang at the wedding too.
Dude, I heard
Yeah.
it was like an
Cascada
acoustic
is-
version,
acoustic
and you
version
guys
of-
walked out.
yeah.
That is like the
Every
sickest thing
song
I've ever heard.
is a heater.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So she, I don't know if this is public information either, but apparently she's coming here in the end of December, like
Really?
playing. Yeah, my wife, because they obviously are friends.
Yeah.
They,
I was gonna say, so you'll be VIP
I hope
for
so.
that one.
Yeah, we did go to a show in New York. I think that was 2 years ago. It happened to be during bye week.
Yeah.
So we flew into New York for like two nights. To
Yeah,
do
yeah.
Their show, and it's pretty cool. Like she's,
That's
you know,
awesome.
she doesn't play like super big venues.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the people are there are going nuts.
I was about to say
Yeah.
that might be a comeback out for that
100%,
show
dude.
because I'm a
Dude, so,
I love that.
my
It was
college
like
roommate-
early, right before Christmas, I think. I
Yeah.
can give you more details.
Yeah,
You know.
sick.
My college
Fucking
roommate,
awesome.
every day of the last day of school, we would play every time we touched, like as loud as we could, because it was just so hype.
Oh, yeah.
And like he always listens to this pod, so he's gonna hear this. But like we would literally every day of school, like that song is like I hear that song and all I can think about is the start of summer.
Oh
And
my
I'm
god,
just like, yes.
it just fires me up every time.
Amazing.
So
That's
good.
so good. Okay, last one. The category is moments with Aaron. Pass, shoot, score. Dave and Buster's. Your honeymoon in Dubai and the Maldives, or her first Midsommar this past year.
Ooh. Now, you guys are really. There's a bunch of hat tricks here. There should have been a bunch of hat tricks, but I'm I'm gonna have to pass on Dave and Buster's,
Yeah.
even though that is we went there.
That's where you met? First date or where you met?
First date.
Yeah.
First date.
Yeah.
And we've gone every our wedding anniversary.
Oh, really?
So we go,
Do you
yeah.
really?
That's fucking
So we
awesome.
went.
That's the coolest thing
We
I've
went
heard.
this year.
Dave and Buster's is fun every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is like you get in there and you're kind of like
It's an
feel
adult
awkward
arcade.
a little bit,
Yeah.
and then once you start playing some games, you're like, I love
Oh,
it.
having a blast.
You're right back.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Having a
I think
blast.
that one, and then Midsummer was awesome. That was really cool,
Yeah.
like having her there and see it all. And we were able to get pretty much all our friends there too,
That's
which was good. And it was one of the first because COVID obviously like
Right.
for 2 years I think
Yeah.
back there, so we didn't go back. But then this was like the almost like the reunion for everyone, so it
Yeah.
was really cool. So I think that was
Extra big one, basically.
yeah, that was good. Yeah, I think that will be score.
Okay,
but the
wow.
honeymoon was that was electric.
I mean,
that was,
honeymoon looked
that was
insane.
just.
What's your favorite Midsommar dish?
That's a great question. Meatballs is probably the most I have
Amazing.
to say
So
that.
good.
But there's a lot of good things. I like the eggs cut in half with the little like shrimp salad on top.
That
which
was-
is,
yeah,
that was
dude.
money.
So I'm
Yeah.
a big Skagen fan.
Yeah, so
and
those
then
are-
the jordgubbsstute is like the best dessert I've ever had in my
I had a
life.
friend from here that came with us, and one of our friends in Sweden, she made a cake.
Oh.
And it was like that, but it was like meringue
Oh,
texture
yeah,
too.
yeah,
so
yeah.
like they added that to it, and we got home at like 3:30 whatever after,
Yeah.
which is still it's
Yeah,
sun
right,
hasn't
yeah.
gone down yet, and he just pounded that rest of the cake. He said it was the best cake he's ever had, and so he ate probably it was the same as the shaved ice,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
for him
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
that. So I think that I'd have to.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good. I mean,
That's a good
Midsummer
one.
is-
We
is
did
a
one a
great
couple
holiday.
years ago, and the people were loving the aquavit,
Oh,
and it's just
dude.
like it's just a shot.
Yeah.
And like people aren't thinking about it. Next thing you know, we're singing the song, taking your 10th shot, and everyone's buckled.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah.
here we go.
Had to.
Did you try the sill?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yes,
Fuck yeah.
dude.
Did you like it?
I love it. But again, it's like, I like it with the mustard sauce. Like that makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different flavors. The standard one is just literally like rotten fish.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
I literally, they put it in
it's
front of me
tough.
and I was like, I'm not eating that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's like the little juice it's in. It's the worst.
Oh yeah, and like that's like sitting out on the table in
know,
the sun.
dude.
It
Oh,
gets
it's so
like
brutal.
really rank.
Then there's like the crawfish one that tastes like lobster. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
So
like
it's like,
that's
that one we can
Yeah,
do.
that one's good.
I
Yeah.
like.
All right, Flip, this was unbelievable, dude. Thank you so much for coming on. Before we let you go, is there anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug?
I'm not sure, but if anything, this is the start of the Preds revenge tour.
Come on, dude.
I hope
Let's
so.
go.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I like
we
it.
can't stay undefeated, so hopefully it's before and after the empty
Yes.
netters here. So
Yes, the Netters bump.
The Netters bump is going to be real.
I love that.
Fucking A. All right, beautiful stuff.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
dude.
you.
Massive thank you
Yeah.
to Flip.
Massive.
You know
thank
what's funny? We've always called him Flip,
Yeah.
and I don't know if everybody calls him that.
Yeah.
But like when he gets here and I'm like, hey, what's up, Flip? And he's like, hi.
Yeah, he's like, okay.
Is that what you call
You
me?
guys
And
are
I'm
calling
like,
me.
yeah, dude.
But it's sick.
And it's sick. And he didn't mind.
Yeah. Huge thank you to Flip Forsberg. Absolute beauty. So good. The Preds wagon starts now.
Bang.
Netters bump. Preds are about to rip off 16 straight.
I believe it. I believe it in my plums, dude.
Unbelievable. And that is it for us at this episode of the Empty Netters podcast. A smashing one indeed.
Smashing one, chaps.
We're going to keep ripping up Nashville. And until we see you next time.
Skate hard.